What if the most powerful clues from God were the ones you almost overlooked? Most people expect divine messages to arrive with thunder, lightning, or a dream so vivid it leaves them trembling. But that's not how it usually works. God whispers in the places people shout over. He hides messages in the quiet moments most ignore. That strange feeling in your chest, that sense of déjà vu, that coincidence that repeated 3 times in a week. These are not accidents. They're blueprints left behind for your soul to decode. You see, only about 2% of people on this planet are spiritually awake enough to even consider that the universe isn't random. That life isn't a series of luck or chaos. They look deeper, feel more intensely, and live through a spiritual lens instead of only the physical one. You might be part of that 2%, and if you are, this clue is meant specifically for you. Let me explain. Imagine you're in a crowded room. Everyone's talking, laughing, distracted. But there's a single violin playing softly in the background. Most people don't hear it. It's too faint, too buried under the noise. But your spirit pauses. You notice it. You're drawn in. That's what a divine clue feels like. It's not louder. It's deeper. It doesn't beg for your attention. It waits patiently for the one with the ears to hear. Here's one form it might come in. Repetition. You keep seeing the same numbers. 1111, 333, or 717. You think it's a glitch, but it's not. It's God marking your timeline, telling you, look again, this moment matters. Or maybe a certain word keeps following you, a phrase, a name, a place. That's no accident, that's divine alignment. But here's the issue, 98% ignore it. They say, that's weird, and move on. But the 2%, they ask why. Why now? Why this message? Why me? And that question opens the door to everything. Because the moment you stop brushing off the signs, you start stepping into your calling. Now, understand this. Noticing the clue is only the beginning. The second part, decoding it. And that's where most people freeze. Because spiritual clues rarely give you all the answers up front. They give you directions, not destinations. They invite you to trust, not control. You might feel pulled to let go of someone suddenly. Or you're told no by the world, but feel a yes in your soul. These are divine puzzles. And the only way to solve them is to walk in faith, not fear. If you've made it this far into the video, it's no longer about interest. It's about alignment. Something inside you knows this is not just content, it's a confirmation. So ask yourself, have I been ignoring a soft inner tug? Have I been dismissing signs because they didn't come with clarity? Because maybe, just maybe, the delay in your breakthrough isn't because God hasn't spoken. It's because you didn't catch what He already said. In part 2, we'll dive even deeper into how these clues show up, how they evolve, and why some signs don't disappear, but grow stronger until they change your life. Let's keep going. Have you ever felt like something keeps circling your life, refusing to go away? A thought, a person, a possibility. It follows you into your dreams. It shows up in the lyrics of a random song. It interrupts your scroll with a sentence that feels like it was written for you. That's not your imagination. That's a divine echo. When God sends a clue, He usually wraps it in repetition until it becomes impossible to ignore. Not to annoy you, but to awaken you. See, spiritually aware people understand that when something repeats itself in their life, it's not just a glitch in the matrix. It's a divine knock, a whisper growing into a roar. But here's the thing about divine clues. They often come in packages we don't expect or even want. You wanted peace, and instead, everything around you is shaking. Why? Because sometimes the clue is, this is not your resting place. You wanted love, and someone disappeared. Why? Because sometimes the clue is, they can't go where I'm taking you. You wanted promotion, and you got rejection. Why? Because rejection is a divine clue in disguise. It's God saying, "You're aiming too low." The problem isn't that God isn't speaking. It's that his signs don't always match our expectations. But the 2%, they've trained their spirit to recognize truth even when it comes wrapped in discomfort. They understand that divine signs are sometimes clothed in confusion, but carry clarity underneath. The person who broke you might have been the mirror you needed to see your strength. The delay in your plans might be the protection you'll thank God for next year. These clues are sacred, but not always soft. And that's where most people give up. They say, if this were from God, it wouldn't hurt. But that's not always true. Sometimes divine clues break what's fake in order to build what's real. And if you're still watching, you probably know this already. There's something in your life right now that keeps tugging at your awareness. A lesson, a pull, a pattern. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that keeps circling me? What is the one truth I keep trying to unsee, but it keeps coming back? That's your clue. That's your personal breadcrumb on the path God designed just for you. And listen closely. The clue isn't here to give you all the answers. It's here to activate your awareness, to move you from sleeping through life to spiritually leading your life. That's what separates the 2% from the rest. In part 3, we'll uncover what happens when you finally act on the clue, how your life begins to rearrange, how divine favor starts accelerating, and why obedience to the clue can unlock the next chapter of your calling. Let's continue. Now we've reached the most sacred part of this message. What happens after you recognize the divine clue and dare to follow it? This is the territory where 98% will turn back. Why? Because following a clue from God often requires surrender before success. Letting go before knowing where you're going. It requires walking by faith, not by eyesight. But for the 2% who do move forward, something extraordinary happens. Doors begin to open that were never even visible before. Conversations arrive that were never planned but feel destined. Your energy changes, your peace deepens, and your steps feel aligned, even if you're walking through the unknown. Because now you're not just chasing life, you're co-creating it with the divine. You become a spiritual pioneer, a signal tower, a vessel. Others will ask how you just knew, but they didn't hear the whisper that started it all. You did. You paid attention when the signs were small. You obeyed when it was uncomfortable. You trusted when it didn't make logical sense. And now, everything is beginning to align. This is the fruit of spiritual obedience. The moment you say yes to the whisper, heaven begins to rearrange things on your behalf. Here's the final truth most people never realize. The clue is never about information. It's always about transformation. God doesn't send you signs to impress you. He sends you signs to prepare you, to evolve you, to use you. Because you're not just a receiver of divine clues. You're being shaped to become one. You're becoming a living sign, a walking message, a mirror that helps others wake up too. And that, chosen one, is how the 2% grow into spiritual leaders, healers, warriors, and guides. They don't just follow clues, they become them. So, here is your final reflection. What if the very clue you've been noticing is the beginning of your rebirth? What if the sign is not just about a change in direction, but a change in identity? Not just where you're going, but who you're becoming. God doesn't leave clues to entertain you. He leaves them to evolve you. And right now, something is shifting in you. The clue didn't just find you. It chose you. So the only question left is, will you follow it? Because if you do, everything will change. And you'll never look at your life the same again.